Behind the Shades.
There's no new normal.
Oh yeah, we're all experiencing for the last couple of years, right?
Exactly.
We're trying to find our new normal. We're doing things. Geez, did you ever think we'd live in a world where people were afraid to hug their family members? But
I know.
I think that phrase is used in a way, at least in my experience, to be dismissive in a way. It's like if someone's confined to a wheelchair, you have to find your new normal. But
it's
what if they want to? No, go ahead.
It's kind of saying like, okay, but you got to deal with this now. That's exactly what they're saying. But say, it's okay. It's okay. I've been in a wheelchair. I have been with a walker. I still have them. I have my cane when I need it. Hurts the pride when I have to use them. I'll tell you that. Definitely. But I have them and I've used them and I've had to, and there's going to be a day where I am permanently in a wheelchair, but I will fight that day until I have to. Absolutely.
And you may not end up that way, right? Like there's a possibility where you can still live your life the way it is now for as long as possible. I don't have MS. Many of us don't have MS. We can still end up in a wheelchair. We can still end up with a cane, with a walker. And as we continue further, you've been in this situation for a number of years now.
I would think.
Do you ever worry that maybe those around you may experience this situation as they get older?
Nobody knows. They say it's genetic. No, it's not. Well, nobody in their family has it. So it's not genetic. But it can be. Nobody knows. There are no answers. And that is the worst part of this disease is there are no answers. There's no pattern to go by. Every individual with MS, because it's the brain and it's different parts of the brain, everybody's different. Everybody is hit with it differently. And the brain reacts differently in different areas. So my memory, my short-term memory, I'm probably not going to remember what you asked me in this podcast, but that's all right because I could watch it. But yeah, that is another downfall that I'm noticing now is getting worse. It's getting, but what are you going to do?
Is there a way to combat that? Or is it just, okay, I'm going to slow down the progression of some of these, what's the word I'm looking for? Consequences.
Nope. It is what it is. The disease modifying medication that I'm on, it has side effects. Everything has side effects. Everything has side effects. So you have to pick your best evil, should I say, and weigh out your options. And there are people that do it just holistically. Because there's just no two are alike. No two are alike. So for me, I met a lady and I went to get shots in my neck because I've had a headache since last September. No word to lie. So, and she was talking about MS. And I said, I opened the curtain. I'm like, do you have MS? And she's like, yeah, I do. And I'm like, I do too. And she was just recently diagnosed. They diagnosed her through weeding out everything else. But they didn't do a spinal tap, which is the definitive way, the only definitive way to figure out what is wrong with anyone. It is in your spinal fluid. So I told them to do a spinal tap because I wanted to know what it was, figure it out, get it done. Then we can move on from there. So I mentioned it to her. She cringed. She said, "Oh no, I heard they were bad." I'm like, "No, they're not. And they just, So she wasn't very happy about that. But I told her, I said, honestly, there are so many autoimmune diseases. You could have something else, and they're medicating you for this. Like you don't know. It is so hard. And you have to self-advocate. You have to. But the doctors, specialists, you know your body. You know yourself. So if something is off or something is wrong or something doesn't feel right, let them know. Shut them down. Do what you got to do. I have fired more doctors than I could tell you. Honest to God. Like, no, just leave my room. Like I've been in the hospital. I'm like, no, you are not very intelligent. You need to leave. You need to leave my room right now. No, you have to be very diligent in your own care. You really do. Because there are a lot of people out there in the state of Pennsylvania. There is one other MS specialist. One. The other one retired. My doctor retired on me last year. So
is this something, Pam, that if you don't ask for it, they won't do it?
Mm-hmm.
So it's like when I go for an annual checkup, right? I think the standard is blood and urine.
Yep.
But this is something where if you know your body, you have to tell them, hey, Mr. and Mrs. Doctor, this is how I'm feeling. This
Right.
is what I'm noticing. Can you do this? Because you would think that, for example, for men, colon cancer, right? Or testicular cancer, it's usually around a certain age and older. So they won't necessarily discuss going through it until you push. Like when I went for my colonoscopy, I told them, I was like, hey, this is what I want to do. And they're like, but you're not old enough for it. I was like, old enough? So, and I told them the story how the star from and it's kind of a funny story, how the star from Black Panther, he died from colon cancer. Chadwick Boseman, right?
Oh, that's
right. And my doctor's like, wow, you related to him? In like a sarcastic way, right? But she's funny like that. I was like, no, but I still want to get checked, right? So it's interesting that there seems to be, at least to me, there seems to be this guideline that colon cancer over 45, testicular cancer over 40, right? They're not, but if you push, then they can say, hey, I just don't feel right.
Yep.
Can I get this done? So since you've gone through MS and you've gone through a number of years, is there a way that I can say, hey, I spoke to Pam. Pam said, be concerned about these types of signs. Are there signs that maybe can indicate that I should get a spinal tap and find out if I have MS?
I would tell you to get an MRI of your brain first. If there is any spots on your brain, okay. When I first had my MRI, there was over 20 lesions on my brain. So I was already well into it at 36, 37, 36. And then I had a birthday. So we were working on this for a while. But then we were going to doctors and doctors. Thank you, sweetheart. So you're not going to jump right to the spinal tap, but if you're feeling your nervous system, numbness, tingling in your arms, your legs, they're usually going to go to your spine first. If there's nothing wrong with your spine, where else do you need to look? Then they're going to ask if you have diabetes. I've been through everything. So they're going to ask if you have diabetes, right? And you're going to say, no, I don't. So they're going to blood test you for that. And I don't know what's going on. Well, we need to figure this out. Like, don't stop. If you're having symptoms, burning, if your skin feels like it's burning, but it's not, something's wrong. Like, my feet feel like they're on fire sometimes. I mean, on fire. I have to get an ice pack and set them on it. If you're feeling anything that is abnormal at all, like I said, you know your body, keep pushing.